recording. Let's not think too much, right? Just continue. So I'm gonna arrange this properly, right? Let me little bit make it small, make a minus here, close that, and is that running live? Yeah, it's live. So if I go back here, let's go side by side so that it will be a little better, right? So see in update how it will work, right? What we're going to do, our plan is to basically go to the details space here, right? This is the details. So the plan is to add the button here because you want to update this, right? Like title and description. Okay, that is what you want to update for now. So we're going to add update button, and same thing with the delete also, right? Here will be delete, but let's not talk about the delete. Focus on update, right? So we're going to add one update button. So the button will be in the mobile device, right? It should be on the, it will be on the downside here, on the like same column, one column, right? Just below this box. And in the large device, maybe side by side, something like that. Okay. So I have to go in this page. So localhost 3000 issue view and the route here, right? Go to this page and add the button there. Let me, I'm going to close everything. So let me go to the app and then issue and view, right? And inside this ID. Okay. So here in the page, I'm going to add a button. So just look at this page, right? Issue detail, fine. This is the issue details page. Let's see, issue details, right? Details. Maybe S will be better, right? Details, and export this with S. Yeah, things will be okay. Same. So I want to add a button here, just below this box, right? Just below this text. So I will put another box like this, and it will give me error because you know what happened. You can only render one element, right? So either you put a fragment like that and wrap everything in the fragment. This is one way. Or what I'm going to do is, okay, let me put the button first. And then we talk about the details, right? So update issue like that. Save. So we have button here, right? Somewhere here. We import the button from Redux UI. You can see the button here. Okay. So you can see the button now, right? Look at this button. So you're going to click this and then go to the update page. In the update, what you're going to need, you need a form, right? The same input form, okay, like a new issue page form, right? Where you're going to update the title and description and then submit again. That's the steps we have to take. But the first we need a button. Good. You're going to need a link also, right? So let's look at the link. We have no link here, so let's import link from next link. Why? Because we need to go to the some of the page, right? We have to route to the update page. Okay, so I want to click this button and go to the update page. So that's why I'm going to add a link here, link, and where I'm going to go. So for now, let me put the href, and I'm not sure where to go, right? But I will try issues slash right. There is a view, and then we have ID, right? So let me put the ID button here. Maybe issue.id, and inside there I'm gonna create a folder called edit. Okay, so look at this route here. If you go like issue view ID, and inside you're gonna have the folder called edit, and there we're gonna add the file, right? Page. Okay, and come on, yeah, and we call it edit issue. This is the page, okay, page, right? Let's keep it like that. So now just pay attention. If I click this, it will take me to that edit issue page. Look at that. Nice. Okay, the thing is, this does not looks good, so maybe in a large device, right, it will be same like that. I don't want that, I want to make it little bit, maybe something go on the second column, and in the small device maybe stay in the bottom, right? So how are we going to fix that? Remember, in Redux UI there is something called grid. So let's find that layout, right? So go to the grid. You can apply something like that, how many column you want, how much gap and all that, right? You can apply. So let's import a grid here, okay, from the Redux UI. Very good enough. Let's try that. Grid. This is same like our CSS grid, right? So now I'm going to just wrap with a grid, okay? Grid, 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 right? And close that with a grid. I can do that, no problem. Okay, so grid, right? So what I'm going to need is columns. So there should be some props, right? Look at here. Row flow. Okay, go gap, x-axis. I mean, how are we going to make a responsive, right? I don't see here. Let me see. Where is the breakpoint? In certain breakpoint, I want to do something. This will be on the top here. Breakpoint, okay. So see, initial is phone, for phone initial, small device, landscape, right? Phone, small, min, MD, large, and Excel. But these size are little bit different than the Tailwind, okay. Tailwind is like 4 something for the small device, extra small, okay. So this one is little larger, right? But anyway, does not matter. Let's apply this initial. So in the below small device, right? Below, I mean, below this extra small, that is initial, right? We're gonna make it, just make one column, okay. And no, that will not work, right? Because I have to make another object. I just pass object, right, inside the columns, and pass the initials. Let's make it 1. That is for the small device, right? But for MD, maybe, or maybe small, above small, right? Like above 768, we gonna make it 2 column. So let's make it 2, right? Fine. Now we're gonna add a gap of how much? Maybe gap, right? Gap of, let's make it how much? 4 or 5, like that. Yeah. So let's see how this look, right? Let's try to go to here. So I mean, you can see the space already now, right? Gap. But in this large device will be something like that. The small device will be something. Okay. Can we make it like in the center, right? How are we gonna do that? And I want this in the center with all these items. So I believe, let's make justify, right? Justify center, and align also. Let's make it center. Now let's see. Did not update. Yeah, I mean, it moved now. You can see it moved already. Sorry. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, fine. So I mean we get that, right? Later, we're gonna add the let's say we're gonna add the delete button also, same place here. But now what we have done, we just implement the edit button. That was the first requirement. If you go back here, right, let's check. We have to look at what we need to do, right? Also the steps, adding the edit button. Okay, we done. You click the edit button, it will take you to the edit issue page. That is the first step. Next one is applying single responsibility principle, right? What does that mean? So okay, so let's talk about that also. I'm gonna git add commit dash m, and let's call it add edit button and git push. So the next thing is applying single responsibility principle, right? I mean, let's understand this, the concept. The concept is, right, in one page. Just remember, in one page, okay. If we have to talk about this page, right, uh, the responsibility of this page is what? See, this page is acting as a UI also, right? Displaying something like you have a grid, and grid has two box, correct? All that, right? Two box also means all the details is inside the first box, and there is a button on the second box. So the principle of website designing, or the software designing, what it says, right? Single responsibility principle means one component, means issue details component. This is one component. Any one component, right, or any one function should have one responsibility. You know, this page is saying that why I'm like having a grid or layout, right, and all that, and also why I should have all these details here in my component. Why? I mean, what is the reason for that? Why you have all this button, right, all this in the same place? Why? It's not look like us. I mean, this is very small thing, right, but still we can optimize this. Okay, so what we can do is, uh you know I mean, we can get more smart, and just optimize this code, right, and just make this component to have one responsibility, that is to just render the page, right? That is all. Okay, grid layout, two box, render, whatever, right? So what I'm going to do is, I don't think we're going to need these details anywhere else, right? So maybe we're going to add component here itself in the view components, right? I mean, if you don't need anything like this component, you're not going to use anywhere, right? Then just keep it in within the folder level, just keep it nearby, right? So we can call it, let's call this, the first one is the issue details, right? Details component. Okay, so tsx like TypeScript. Okay, here what we will do is bring that everything inside this, right? I delete something. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave that box, grid and box, that is layout. I will leave it. The logic is here, right? Everything inside here. So let's grab all that. Control X and put it here. Good. Now it complains. It says, okay, there is no more wrapper, right? Like this is separate. All that are separate. So I think we can put box here. Or even we can bring the whole box. Let's do that, right? Why not? Let's bring the whole box. No, leave the box. I don't know what to do. I have no idea, right? Okay, let's add the div, or let's put a div here. I mean, we should have bring the box. That should be also fine. Let's wrap it. just the wrapper. Okay, so now we are missing all this. So what we will do, control dot, and I'm gonna import all, right? What is import all missing imports? Okay, look at all, add all missing imports, and it should add, right, everything almost. So we don't have titles and all that, right? Remember, these things are coming from here. You know that we have this data fetching, right? So we have to send this data also to that one, that issue details component. So we're gonna get that. So that is the issue, right? We're gonna send. So let's receive that props issue, and that issue is basically what is that issue, right? Yeah. So that is the, we can validate that from issue schema, right? Issue issue like that. So that is coming from Prisma client. Fine. Now that issue will be basically loop through. Basically that issue will be added here, title and all that. Good. So what is this saying? So let's remove. I don't know why it's not having issue. Paragraph is still complaining. Okay, so that's the problem. It imported in the wrong way, right? That was the problem. Okay, so I have to import all from the Redux UI. Heading, that is the first. Second one is text. Okay, anything else? Now I can put as h1. Good. So done. I'm just going to use this inside here, right? Let's import that. Issue details, right? Details. And then we're going to call that inside this box. So it will complain. It says you need to pass the props, right? So here we are passing issue, and that is equal to issue, right? Like it's complaining why issue ID string. Okay, why it's complaining? I have this issue, and issue is basically the issue, right? Yeah, it looks fine. So let's check now. Oh, okay, the same name, right? Issue details here and here. Okay, so I can change. So this is issue details page. Okay, let's make it page, right? And here will be page, because if you have the same component name, it will come. Good. Now save it, and it will be fine. Yeah. The next thing now, what we can do is we have done that part. So let's move this button also, right? Let's move that button from here. So again, when you move, you have to pass that information, that ID, right? That is all we need. ID from this page, issue button page, not issue button, but issue details page. That ID we have to pass, because remember, we are getting this issue, and this issue has ID. That ID must go to that button. So we can do that, not a problem. So let's copy this button, and again in the same component we can, because if you don't need this anywhere else, then add here. So we can call it edit issue button, right? Button dot css, like that, and we just put it here. Okay, now we need to import the button from Redux UI. You're gonna need a link, right? import link from next link. Okay, good to go. So this is how we can call it issue ID, right? Let's call it issue ID like that. Okay, and here we're gonna receive that issue ID props, issue ID like that. And what is this? The issue ID, right, is a string. Okay, so it's time to now get this in our page here. So let's import now. So we can import somewhere here. Issue uh, update, right? Edit issue button, something like that. Okay. Then we're gonna call here edit issue button. See, so it says you have to pass the issue ID, right? And that should be something like that. See, so this props we just receive it, right? We receive here as a props, and this is the variable. Okay, this is just a variable, a parameter, right? It has a value that is string, because if you look at this is a string. Okay, and that is what we are passing, right? So everything looks fine. So we just optimize our code now, right? Look at here. There is so many things, right, which we don't need to import now. So how are we going to fix that? Alt Shift P, right? And then I will organize. I think something like organize import. Where is that? There should be somewhere here. Organize import. Oh, nice. And it organize. So basically, it remove everything I don't need now, right? Just make it clean, nice and clean. Gone. Very good. That helps, when you're writing code, right? Even before I was not using, but slowly I'm learning a couple of tricks also. But if I find out something new, I will tell you guys also, right? So that's good. Okay, so we're done with this part now. What is the next step? Let's git add commit 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 dash m, and we call it a single responsibility, right? Single responsibility principle, SRP, something like that. Okay, and git push. Okay, so let's look for the next thing. Now building the edit issue page, right? Edit issue page. So edit issue page means we have already done that in the ID edit page here, right? We have done that. So we need to get the form now, right? Form. Remember the form from the new page? I mean, I can show you here, right? Let's go to the issue and add this form, right? This form I need now, because what's gonna happen is I want to display, when I click, I want to get that details page, right? Title and this description appear here, so I can update that and then submit, right? Update issue. Basically, this will be changed to update issue like that. And when it's update, so I need to create form like this, but I already have this form, right? Can I use this? I mean, that will be better idea, let's do that. So that this form now gonna be used in two places. One in the new page, right? New here, and next one in the edit here. Edit, right? Two places. So my idea, unless I have one component here, but I have one component here, right? So what I will do is I'm gonna add in this one, no problem. What I will do is, let's call it issue form, right? Form like that. And now just copy everything, So go to the issue new page, right? And copy everything. Control A, Control C like that, and issue form, okay, and put here. So we're just gonna change the component name, okay? So let's change that. New issue page. No, I want to make this just form, issue form, right? Like that. And that is what we're gonna export. Good to go. So here will be same, right? So I have this separate now. I'm going to call that right here. So now I don't need all this, right? Let's delete this, everything from here, and React arrow function. And I'm going to call this new issue page. Okay. And then import issue form, right? Form from component issue form. And that is what I'm going to display here. So let's see if this is working, right? Let's check. Until now I did not get any error. Let's click here, go to new, and it working, right? Everything looks fine. Okay. So so now, right, this is working, so I don't have to worry about this part. The only thing now I have to is go back to the view ID and edit page here, right? Page. So let's import that again. Import issue form, right? Form like that. And let's render this here. Issue form. Good. So again, if you go back here, now if you go to the edit, right, let's go to one of the edit, this one, and click on update issue, and you will get that form again, right? So we get the form now. Okay, it's working. Now look at here, this ID, right? Okay, what is the next step is building API, but okay, let's wait before we start building API, right? Let's wait. Because of this ID, I need to get data now, right? I need to get data here and then send that data to this form so that we can display as a default. I mean, we can add the default date value, right? So how I'm going to grab this ID now? This is params. Remember the params? Let's call it params, right? Params. And params is an object, right? Params is what? Object. And it has an ID. And that ID is what? String. Good. I get now. This function will be async function, async, right? Asynchronous function. Okay. Next, go to this line. Let me collapse. And const, I will call issue, right? Issue equal to, oh wait, Prisma. I need Prisma now, right? So let's import that. Import Prisma from, Prisma client, right? Then Prisma dot issue, I will call the issue, and then I say find unique, find the unique data, right? And you have to pass the clause where ID is params dot id. So we have done that before also, same thing, right? But there is an issue now. What is the issue? Okay, I don't know why we're getting this issue, right? Save. So yeah, so I'm in the edit issue page, right? That is fine. ID. Okay, I think I'm doing something wrong. Let me remove this, right? Prisma is okay. Uh, I can. Let's remove this one. What I will do, I'll just console log, right? Let's see if I'm getting or not. Console dot log, and let's add params dot id. Save. So we should get, right. We should get some. I mean, let's go to that edit page, right? Here we get. So it should give us the, you know, the value here. So look at this, right? That ID is there, okay? And that ID is string basically. So why it was not working? So fast refresh, okay. Even if I reload, right? Let's try reload this page. So we get this ID. Issue view this ID, right? Edit whatever, but we have that ID console log. Okay, that is done. The thing is const issue, right? Equal to. I need to find the. I need to find that issue. Okay. So how? Async await prisma dot issue dot find unique, like that, and then apply the where clause, and that will be accept object. And I need to check for ID, where ID is params dot id. Yeah, so I don't know why. Maybe something was wrong, right? I just typed maybe something wrong, I'm not sure, but that is the way. Okay, so we will check. If there is no issue, then please return, right? No need to do anything. So let's check. If no issue, then just call the not found page. Okay, and this is important from the next JS, right? You can get, see, you just import automatic. If you not import, then you have to type it, right? But if your VS Code is configured properly, it should work. Sometimes not. You just have to restart your Visual Studio. So done. We're just gonna send this data now, right, to this form. Just pass the issue like that, and will be this issue. Good. So let's go now, right, to the issue form and figure out that. So we are now receiving the props. Okay, here we are sending the data, right? So that is issue. And what kind of data is that? See, this issue, sometimes it will be data, right? Sometimes no data. So there is optional, right? So this is the optional chaining, and this is our issue from the Prisma client. So type checking is from here, right? Remember that, if you need to check the type for any schema, you just import that, right? And we don't have to write like interface props, and then or any name, and then you define all that ID, title, description, date, all that. You don't have to do. If you have schema, it's very easy to get type check by just calling that schema, right, name, and it will know that your issue is part of me, right? This is like a parent, right? Your data, this data will be something look like me, right? It's a clone of me, something. This is the structure of me, and that should be your data, right? When you get issue, it will be something like this. So please don't get confused, right? It's just telling the program, okay? Here, just compare with me. That is should be there, right? So this issue will be what is inside here. Good. Okay, so now we have done this part. It's time. So this is optional by adding this, right? That means sometimes there will be issue, sometimes even no issue, no problem, right? Because remember, when we're gonna use this form inside our new, then we're not sending the data here, okay? We're just gonna create, right? Like adding the title, description, whatever, and submit, done. But in case of update, you will be sending, because from the update page, where is that edit, right? Edit. When you editing, right, then you're gonna get to this page, edit page. In that case, you have that ID. You will get that issue with that ID, and you will send that data to the form. That's why we make this optional. Means sometimes issue form you're gonna get issue, sometimes you're not gonna get the issue. That's the point. Once we have issue now, right, we can add as a default. So let's check where we can add. So there is a title. uh where is the title, right? So now I know these things little bit change. From text field root, right here, so we can add here. Let's add as a default value, right, like that. And this can be issue dot title. But again, see, it added automatically, right? Because issue is optional. That's what we have indicated on the top. So we get now, and one more we're gonna add in our control here. So anywhere, just put it somewhere here. Default value will be the variable. So let's call it issue dot description, right? And it added the optional change here, right? So sometimes there will be default value, sometimes no need, right? So that's why this means it may be there, it may not, right? So let's, if not, don't worry, okay? That's why it's optional. So let's see if this work, right? Let's go back to the one of the issues. I will click this, maybe the last one, and I will go update, right? And voila, we get that box 13, and we get all the details. Now you're gonna change here, right? Make changes and submit this update. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So what we have done now, we just created the issue details page, right? Building the edit issue page. Okay, so let's, we done now. So git add git commit -m, building the edit issue page, like that, and git push. Okay, finally now we have data, right? We have the data. You're going to update this and you're going to submit. So when you submit, you're going to need API now, correct, to send this change or update this data back to our database. So let's write API now. So again, API will be something like like we have to create with the ID and all that, right? Let's see how we can do that, because we have to find the route. This is the new, right? Issue new. So inside issue, I'm going to add something like maybe just put ID, right? So that when I'm gonna, because I'm gonna update with ID something, okay, so I'm gonna need that ID to figure out, right? So inside this ID, we're gonna have a route. I mean, we can also do let's say we have inside the view and edit, right? So I mean, we can leave it like this, or you can add su view edit, right? I mean, whatever you want, but this will work also. Okay, so let's route.es. As long as we make correct route, right, in our when we sending the data, that will be okay. So so this will be also same like the new, right? Something similar to this. So I will just copy this whole thing. I don't know if I can write again, copy that and put it here, right? So you're gonna need that. You're gonna need the Prisma. You're gonna need the schema, issue form schema. You're gonna need that, right? To validate, same thing. The post this time is not post, right? But it should be patching. So there is put and patch. So put, when you replacing the whole data, right? Everything. Patch is most likely for update certain thing, right? So let's make a patch like that. So request, next request, and what else we're gonna add here, right? So next request. Let me expand. Fine, this is okay. We're gonna need that, right? Because we need that, we need to fetch, we need to find the issue, right, with the ID, because which ID you can update, which issue you can update, right? That's the point here. Okay, so when you click, right, when you send this route, you're gonna give the ID also. So that ID you're gonna grab from here, right? So let's optimize, basically add here as a props. So I don't know what we're gonna call that. Params, I believe, not params, right? Yeah, that is route. So let's call it params, and that params is basically object with ID, and that ID is string. I think that is good. So we will check later, right? We're gonna use this to find the issue. So let's say you're gonna send the data. Good, you receive that data like this. Await request JSON. You're gonna get that data. Then you're gonna do the validation. Same thing. Then if no validation, then you return the failure message. If no success, now let's make this updated issue, right? But before this, right, I need to check if that, every time you update, right, you make sure that issue is inside your database. So to do that, const issue, right? So let's make it updated issue. Just change the value. So issue equal to await prisma dot issue dot find unique, same thing, and where so it will be ID, right? Where ID is params dot ID. Yeah, because that's the reason for this, right? And in the route, when we create a route for this, right, when you are going to add routes, there we will be sending the ID also. So we'll see how we do that, right, later. So it will give us the ID. We check, right? If there is no issue, again, then just return this, like, okay, there is something wrong, right? You cannot find the issue. So just return from here, and no validation, but this will be something like let's send the error message, right? No issue found. Okay, good. If there is issue, then we move here, right? Update. So now you have to even provide the ID, right, of which issue you want to update. So there will be where ID, right, is from this issue ID, comma. What was that? I just forget, right? Let's see. No, So where, and then the data, right? What is the error here? So it's saying type ID string is not ID string, is not assignable to the type neighbor, right? Why? Because we have to send, we have to send the data from the body, right? Title and description, but okay. Okay, because sorry guys, this one is not the create. We are not creating the new, okay? That's the reason. Here will be update and the problem is gone, right? Because that's why I said what I have done. Okay, so yeah, so that's really fine, right? So you're gonna now update. See, we check here if there is issue or not in the database. If the no issue, then return, right? Just return it, no issue found. But if there is issue, right, then only we're gonna perform the update, and that update, in the update you're gonna give the ID of that issue, the issue you are updating, and also send the updated data, and it will do the job, right? Here return, let's make it updated issue, right? Updated issue. So this is done, right? We can test this in the in the our pacman. What is that pacman? Postman, you can test in the update or patch, right? In the patch, but let's try. Not it's not gonna work. We just wrote the API, right? What we're gonna do is let's commit, and then later we're gonna use in our project, right? Just use that API. So git add commit dash m. Uh, so API for update, API for update, and it push. All right. So we done. So the next step is now using this API. So where are you gonna use API now, right? Again, where is your form? In the form here, right? Issue form. You're gonna fill out this data. You're gonna make change, right? This is the issue form here in the update part also. So you're gonna make changes. You have that issue here, right? So you just make changes to your data here, and then you're gonna submit. Now, when you submit, what's gonna happen, right? So that is the point we have to look for. So let's find where is the submit. So when you submit data, right, you're gonna get that data, everything from this title and description. When submit is true, the only thing is now, right, when I gonna post, like there is this form is used in two places, like post, like for the new form or new issue, and for update also, right? So I'm gonna put some logic here, like if condition, right? If there is issue, like for example, if I have an issue here, right, that means I know I'm updating, okay? So I'm gonna call this axios to update, to do the update part. That should solve the problem, right? So here I'm gonna say patch, right? Patch. Now I just need to do the correct route. Where is my API? Now API issue, and it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna put this bracket like this, right? And then issue, and there is the ID, right? So inside the issue, okay, let me check quickly. So in the issue here is straight, right? In the issue API issues, and then I have ID, okay? And in that ID, I'm updating, right? I have this patch route. Clear? So that's how I have to write the route here. So dollar sign, and just give the ID now, right? So issue dot ID. Okay, you tell me where I'm getting this issue, right? Remember, I'm sending that issue when I'm updating this issue. I'm getting that issue. So that issue ID, I'm gonna send to my API, right? Route API issues, and here. That's how I have written issue ID folder, right? And inside it will go look for that route. So done, and then you have a data, right? This updated data will be the same for the new, or when you update it will be same, right? Fine. That is one thing. Else, I'm going to write else here. If there is no issue, then you do all this right here. Okay, so that will do the job, right? Let's try now. So I'm updating now, right? So this will I'll make it just make plus plus maybe something like that, and uh, this is updated, right? And submit. So it's taking a lot of time, right? So I hope the API is working perfectly, you know. So I don't know if we get error or something. So everything looks fine here. Just running long, taking long time. So let's see. So that's why it's always recommended, you know, when you write any API, right? Test it in the Postman. We're gonna do that also. Let's wait. So once we finish this one, almost we, you know, like done, right? We have like, okay, building API is done. Updating issue, that is what we are doing, right? Uh, okay, the caching, we're gonna talk about it will be done. I don't know what happened. Is that okay? It did not go all. Let's see if issue, right? If there is issue, then await access.path API issues is idle issues slash issue ID, and then you're gonna send the data. Okay, let me test this API, right? If that is working, because something looked like not a good idea. Oh, what I have done. Where is Postman, guys? Here. It's better to confirm, you know. So here is the paths, localhost 3000 API. Let me change this to issues slash, and then I'm gonna put the ID, right? So let me find the ID. That was somewhere here in the browser. I'll just use this one, okay? Okay. Now, edit, right? I'm here. It looks okay because when you click on this, right? Yeah, I just need this ID, you know. So issues, API issues, and that ID, go inside that ID and update some data, right? So our data is JSON here, this JSON, raw, whatever, but the body must be in the body. Now let's change this one, okay? So we are sending two field, title, right? And add it. This is bug 13 updated data, right? Like that. Data, comma, and then we're gonna send the description, right? IPPI description, and let's add. This is the uh, updated description. Okay, that is all we need, and let's send, right? Path is here, localhost 3000 API issues, and then ID, send. Yeah, so this is done, right? Look at here, we receive back the updated, you know, that information. So it should also give us the change here, right? Let's go to the issue and look at that title and look at this. So it's working, API is perfectly fine. So here I'll just put plus, plus like that and submit. Yes, so when I click on this, right, that's where the problem happens. So what might be that issue? So when I submit, this on submit function work async data, submitting is true. If issue, right? If issue, so where is the issue now? So that is the issue, right? ISSU issue. Yeah, so that means if issue, then await Axios patch API slash issues. So we go to API slash issues slash this ID, right? And there will be data. You're going to send the data, okay? That is title and description, fine. Else, if there is, basically next time when there is no issue, right, then you're going to run the else part, that is await data. And okay. So yeah, now I see the problem now, right? We update, but we never go to the, see here we don't have that, right? So I think, yeah, let's put this one also there, no matter else or whichever, I mean, wherever you go, right? Like either in the issue, you have to go to the new page, okay? So that's why we're not directing, right? Refresh, let's do that. Okay, look like it's updated, right? Let's change this. So I will just put again 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and update, and it update. Okay, it's working, but because we're not routing somewhere, right? That was the problem. Okay, so you can see now here. Okay, fine. So everything looks perfectly working, guys. So now when I'm updating, right, can I change this submit issue to update issue? How I can do that? So that is the button here, right? On the look at this, type submit issue, right? And we have spinner and all that. So when I have an issue, so what I will do, right, I'm just going to copy this and I will put another bracket like this, and I'll say if there is an issue, right, if that is true, oh no, let's make it this one, right, conditional rendering. If there is an issue, then make it update issue, right, like that. Else make it what was there before, submit issue. So that should change now. So update issue, look at that update issue. Now you can update, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, update. Okay, so that's done. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the next thing is, right, yeah, we almost done. Let's see what we can do next. Yeah, so okay, updating an issue. Now understanding the caching, right? Caching, remember the caching. What is caching now? So data cache, basically when you load data, right, using the fetch method, we are not using that. Then all the information, right, is loaded in the browser and it is added, it is saved like a file. Okay? So until you reload your project or reset up your project, right, until that time the client, like browser, will be getting the information from the saved file within your computer. Okay, you are not going back to the server and getting data all the time. So that is one thing, that is, that is the one issue. So if you have to get data all the time, new fresh data, right, so there you have to make some modification in your fetch method. Basically like no store, you can add, basically here will be API route, just put no store as a second parameter, right? So that means it will not store the fetch data in your computer. Or you want to revalidate, means you want to make the program run again after certain time, right? So you can add next this property here to revalidate your data every after expiring that time. Okay, like maybe 36 seconds, whatever, right? Something like that, after a time is expired. So next one, that is one way when you're using fetch, but we are not using fetch, so let's not worry about that. See, the only thing I want to explain, right? Let's go back here. When when, let's say, when you go back here, when you see, when you update or maybe you add new item, right? You want to go somewhere to the new page. So what you and we can do, right? Sometimes you're not going to see the data from your database, like you're not going to get the data, right? Why? Because your page already have some data fetch earlier, right? And that is what you're going to see there. You're not going to see the updated one, right? If that is the situation, then you can add here something called router dot reload, okay, or refresh, right? Refresh. So what it will do is refresh your page. It will just refresh the page, right? And that means it will reload your new updated data from the server. Caching, right? So that caching will be removed with the new data, right? And then you're going to see the changes from the server to your browser. So there is static caching and the dynamic caching. What is static and dynamic? Just imagine, I mean, these things creating a page, right? So if there is a dynamic route, this is called dynamic route, because remember, you are passing some ID dynamically. This ID will be keep changing, right? And based on this route, you're gonna get the data, or you're gonna send the data, right? So that is called dynamic route. And static means, if, let's say, if any route, right, don't have the uh, dynamic ID or dynamic link, then that is static route. So we're going to talk about this again in the future, like when you build the project, right? I will show you uh, the how dynamic route looks like and what is static, right? If the, let's say, for example, if the blog, you create a blog, right, and if the data is not changing often, then the route for that will be static, means server will like create during the building time. When you build the project, it will create the route, and same route will be stored in the, like, the whole data will be stored in the cache. And if someone requests, same thing will be sent, right? Server will not go and create the new page all the time. No, it will just have the old page sitting there. Somebody coming, it will send that. So that's how it works in the static. Dynamic, always you're gonna build a new, right? Because we don't know, right? You have to fetch new things all the time. Okay, so let's stop here and then